Last night, my girlfriend asked me a question that kept me awake until morning. Are you really waiting for me? Or are you just forcing yourself to endure it until the day you can't take it anymore? I didn't know how to answer. I'm a 24-year-old man. This is a sensitive subject, but I've reached the point where I genuinely need some advice. I don't want people to think I only care about sex, and I don't want anyone to call my girlfriend old-fashioned either. We both have our own reasons. The problem is, the longer we stay together, the more this difference between us scares me. My girlfriend and I have been dating for almost 2 years. When we first met, we were still university students. We had a lot in common, from our attitude towards studying and family to our plans after graduation. While our friends were busy going out and having fun, we often sat together in the library with our laptops, each of us doing our own work. On weekends, if we had money, we went out for a proper meal. If we were broke, we bought 2 loaves of bread and sat in the park, talking about our future. After graduation, I found a job at a small company, and she also managed to get a position related to her field. Neither of us earns much yet, but we agreed to spend a few years working hard and saving money before talking seriously about marriage. I used to think that finding someone so compatible with me was already more than I could ask for. There is only one issue where we see things very differently. I'm an adult man, and naturally, I have the desire to be physically close to the person I love. My girlfriend, however, made it clear from the beginning that she wasn't ready. She wants to wait until marriage, not because she doesn't love me, but because that is the boundary she has chosen for herself. The first time she told me, I smiled and said, "I understand. You don't have to look so nervous." She looked at me for a long moment before asking, "Are you sure? I don't want you to tell me one day that you suffered because of me." I answered without hesitation, "I love you. It's not like I only love you for that." At the time, I sincerely believed it would be simple. If she wasn't ready, I would wait. People in a relationship should respect each other. How difficult could that be? It turned out that saying it was much easier than doing it. Sometimes we would just be walking together when she would link her arm through my arm or rest her head on my shoulder. That alone was enough to send my thoughts in the wrong direction. I would immediately start talking about work, electricity bills, gas prices, or even office gossip, just to drag my mind back to reality. Once, we went to the cinema. A romantic scene appeared on the screen, and she instinctively squeezed my hand. I started feeling uncomfortable with my own reaction, so I suddenly stood up and said I was going to buy more popcorn. She looked confused. "The movie's almost over. Why are you buying more now?" I still left, pretending I was hungry. In reality, I stood in the hallway for almost 10 minutes and drank half a bottle of cold water before I dared to go back inside. On the way home, she was unusually quiet. I kept asking what was wrong until she finally said, "Is sitting close to me really that uncomfortable for you?" I had to explain that I wasn't uncomfortable with her. I was afraid my physical reactions might make her feel awkward or pressured. She blushed after hearing that, but she still looked sad. "I know you have needs," she said quietly. "That's exactly why I feel even more pressured." After that day, I started looking for every possible way to stop myself from thinking about it so much. The first thing I tried was meditation. I downloaded an app and spent time every day sitting straight, breathing in and breathing out. It worked quite well for the first 3 days. On the 4th day, the soothing voice in the app said, "Now think of the person you love most." That was the end of my meditation journey. Then I tried reading. I deliberately chose serious books about economics, self-improvement, philosophy, and history. Somehow I could be reading normally, then reach a passage about a man and a woman walking together in the rain, and my imagination would start going in a completely different direction.
I would slam the book shut in frustration, feeling as though I had betrayed my girlfriend's trust, even though I hadn't actually done anything. After that, I started running every evening. I thought that if I used up all my energy, I would sleep better. The result was that my legs felt like they had been beaten with a stick, my whole body ached, and my mind was still exactly the same. When my friends find out, every one of them had a different suggestion. One said, go to the gym and lift as heavily as possible. When your arms are shaking, you won't have the strength to think about anything else. I took his advice. After 2 weeks, my body was stronger, and unfortunately, so was my desire. Another friend told me to play video games to distract myself. I played until 2 in the morning. The moment I turned off the computer and lay down, I started thinking about my girlfriend again. Someone else suggested taking on extra work in the evenings, so I would be so exhausted that I would fall asleep the second my head touched the pillow. I tried that too. I accepted a few freelance projects and ended up constantly tired and irritable. One night, my girlfriend called to check on me. I was stressed and answered her coldly without realizing it. She went silent for a moment before asking, "Are you starting to feel tired of loving me?" That question startled me. I was trying to create distance so I could respect her boundaries, but my behavior made her think my feelings were changing. My best friend even joked, "Come to my house and solve advanced math problems with my younger brother. Add some philosophy on top of that. Your head will hurt so much you'll forget every other need." I actually tried it. My head did hurt, but the problem remained unsolved. At first, I told my girlfriend about all these attempts as if they were funny stories. She laughed and called me silly. But gradually, she stopped laughing. One day she asked me directly, "Have you ever thought about finding someone else to take care of your needs?" I immediately said no. She continued, "What if you have to wait another 2 or 3 years?" I stayed silent for a few seconds. It was only a few seconds, but she noticed. She pulled her hand away from mine and said, "I understand."
I panicked and tried to explain that I wasn't considering cheating. I was thinking about whether we would have saved enough money to get married in 2 or 3 years. But she still cried. She said she had always been afraid that one day I would use all the time I had waited as a reason to demand something from her. Or worse, that I would secretly do something outside the relationship and then come back and say it was her fault because she couldn't satisfy me. Hearing that hurt deeply, because I had never forced her. Even when we were alone, the moment she seemed uncomfortable, I stopped. I had always believed I was doing the right thing. But I slowly realized that even though I had never pressured her through my actions, constantly talking about how hard I was trying to control myself might have made her feel as though she owed me something. After that, I stopped telling her. I dealt with everything on my own. I kept working, exercising, and avoiding situations where the two of us would be completely alone. But the more I kept inside, the more tense I became. It wasn't because I was angry with her. I was afraid of myself. I was afraid that one moment of weakness might hurt the person I loved. I was afraid that one day I might listen to the wrong friend, make a terrible decision, and destroy something I could never repair. Some people told me to pay for sex, saying it wouldn't count as betrayal as long as there were no feelings involved. But to me, betrayal is still betrayal. The fact that I don't love the other person wouldn't make me innocent. I truly love my girlfriend. I want to wait until she is completely ready, not until she gives in because she is afraid of losing me. At the same time, I can't pretend that I have no needs or force myself to act as though I'm always calm and unaffected. Last night, we talked about it again. She said, "Maybe we should take some time apart. I don't want you to suffer because of me, and I don't want to keep wondering what you're thinking every time you hug me." I felt completely numb. "Do you want to break up?" I asked. She shook her head. "I don't know.
I'm just afraid our relationship is turning into a test of how much you can endure. Then she asked the question I couldn't answer. Are you really waiting for me? Or are you just forcing yourself to endure it until the day you can't take it anymore? I love her. I am certain of that. I also respect her boundaries. But for the first time, I have started wondering whether love and respect are enough to overcome a difference like this. Or will time only make one person feel more guilty while the other feels more frustrated? I don't want to lose her, but I also don't want us to reach a day when one of us feels pressured and the other feels that years of waiting meant nothing. What would you do in my position? Would you continue waiting, agree on a clear timeline together, or accept that sometimes two people can genuinely love each other and still not be compatible?
Nếu bạn yêu thích những câu chuyện đời thật, những tâm sự sâu sắc về tình yêu, hôn nhân, gia đình và bài học cuộc sống, hãy nhấn đăng ký kênh, like, chia sẻ và để lại bình luận bên dưới để cùng lan tỏa những câu chuyện ý nghĩa đến nhiều người hơn. Sự ủng hộ của bạn chính là động lực để tâm sự đời thật tiếp tục kể thêm nhiều câu chuyện chân thật, cảm xúc và đáng suy ngẫm mỗi ngày. Cảm ơn bạn đã lắng nghe và đồng hành cùng kênh.